Brown. Welcome to episode 29 of my crafting podcast. This is my fortnightly vlog about knitting, crochet, spinning, yarn dyeing, weaving, anything else that seems like a good idea at the time. Coming to you from North Yorkshire in the north of England, where I live with my husband, 3 children and 3 cats. Yes, you faithful follower people, that's a suggestion of a friend of mine to stop me using the long-suffering viewers. My faithfuls will know that until last time I had 2 cats. We lost one in December and we went down to 2 and now we're back up to 3. So I'm hoping she'll make an appearance. If she doesn't, then I'll put in some footage of her at some point. So she's upstairs on my bed at the moment, fast asleep, which is lovely. So you can find me on social media. On Instagram, I'm Mel Brown Crafting Podcast. I also have an account for my retreats business called Creative Escape Retreats. And on Ravelry, I'm Funky40. And there's a Ravelry group for this podcast as well. So all the show notes are, there's a link down below. So if you click down here, there'll be a link that will take you over to Ravelry, and then all the patterns I've talked about and the people and everything else, there'll be clickable links there, and you can make comments. You can either make comments down below here or you can make comments over in Ravelry. In the group there are threads for all kinds of things, so get involved. I'd love to hear from you. Right, so where do we start? Where are they now? What's happened to the projects that you saw before? So let's start with the memories blanket. I haven't done anything on that. That's just such a lovely project. It's just like an old friend. It sits in the corner there just quietly, allowing me to ignore it for months and months, and then I'll pick it up and have loads of lovely hours of fun with it, and then put it back away again, and it never minds. It's lovely. So that's my first work in progress. Nothing done with that. This second one, I made a little progress. I am doing the Quaker Yarn Stretcher Boomerang by Susan Ashford. Anyway, it's up here. It's my 3rd time of making this pattern because it is so perfect for hand spun. And I've been making this one with my daughter's hand spun. So my 3rd daughter, she has Asperger's, and she's a very busy young lady. She dyed some fibre with me and then she spun it and I've been knitting it. So here it is. I've gone out of the rainbow into this more haphazard colour. There's probably only a few rows from last time you saw that. I didn't put a marker in. So not much different there. It's very open, as you can see. I think, yeah, it's just going to be. I was thinking of even maybe slowing down the increases so that it just becomes more of a scarf. I don't know. It's very slow progress, and I've got this much left, and after that she'll have to spin some more. So yeah, I keep saying I really should crack on with that and just finish it to inspire her to spin some more, but I keep not doing that. Okay, so that's work in progress number 2 in the bag that my friend Sarah made for me. So my 3rd work in progress is the Havana shawl by Tina Thorvaldsdottir. Yes, first time I've managed to get that out. Clearly the daughter of 2 people who are named there. It's an amazing pattern. It's a technique called mosaic crochet. If you haven't come across that before, it's very visually appealing and yet fairly easy to achieve, which, you know, 2 things that I really relate to. So let me show you how it's going. There we go. So you've seen that. No, you've seen the bottom part here. And we're up to here. It's curling a little bit. So you might be able to see that there's one pattern here, a slightly different pattern here, and it's fairly obvious where I've switched colours here. There's a different pattern. There's another one here and another one here. So you can see the possibilities of this technique. It looks like colour work. It isn't. That's all I'll say. There's a paid for pattern for this, and to be honest, it's worth every penny. It's brilliant. It's so good. My friend Adriana, who's in Kansas, she's suggested this, and she's knitting it, crocheting it with me. She's actually finished hers, and it looks amazing. I'm using scraps of double knit for it, so this is why it's a little bit random. Have a look at this little fella. He's a mole. It's cute, and he's got a little fork tassel there. I'll tell you more about that later. So this is the pattern. It is awesome. It's very easy to do. Look at the back. There's where I've to change yarn in the middle of a row. Otherwise, you run the ends in as you go. So that's how it's going at the moment. I love it so much. I teach at Yarn Etc. sometimes, which is my local yarn shop in Harrogate. And the yarn shop owner there, Fiona, she's lovely. She is interested in this as well. And I think what we're probably going to do is run a course in it. So if you fancy this, have a look at the pattern by all means. If you want to give it a go, then you can either obviously buy the pattern and go ahead, or you can come along if you're close enough to Harrogate and we'll teach a session on it. So let me know if you're interested in that, or just contact Yarn Etc. We haven't got a date or anything yet, but we will sort that out. So anyway, I was started with a 4mm hook because it's double knit, went up to a 5. I think it could probably go to a 6. It's got quite a lot of drape, not drape, it's got quite a lot of body. Can you imagine how that's going to look when it's a bit bigger, just hanging down like that? It's mostly acrylic. This green is wool, part wool, half wool, but the rest of it is acrylic, so it's not going to block. But it kind of, I quite like the fact that it's got a bit of stiffness to it, because that means I can arrange it so I can see the bits I want to, or you can see the bits that I want you to. So yeah, you can use, buy yarn for it specifically, or just use up scraps. I would imagine, if I think about it, you could use any weight of yarn. You just adjust the hook, obviously, and adjust the how far you do it, because there's I'm on section 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on section 5, and there are 7. But there's an extension as well. Excuse me, to 9, which Adriana has done. So you can make it bigger, and of course, if you were doing something like 4-ply on a 4mm hook or something, you could just keep going. The pattern is easy to work back and just do it again. Just go back to the first pattern and carry on like that. So you can make it in any weight of yarn that you had, and just start working and choose the hook that suits. So yeah, I didn't actually frog it. You know how lazy I am. The first bit's in 4mm. I probably switched around here to 5mm. Didn't frog it, just carried on. But yeah, so it's a 5mm for most of it, but you can use anything you like. It's brilliant. So that's in this little bag that Gemma from Gemma B Makes made for me. It's really cool because my scissors are sitting in, and my hook is sitting in there, and it's holding lots and lots of yarn. So yeah, Havana. That song keeps going around in my head. Havana, no, no. Do you know that? No, probably not. Okay, so Havana is work in progress number 3. So let's have a look at number 4, Exploration Station. So this is a Stephen West pattern. This is what I'm doing for our brioche along. It's a make along, knit along, I guess. Well, there is crochet brioche. I haven't done it, but maybe I should do that soon. So it's a knit along, and it's for any project that has some brioche in it. This Stephen West pattern has 5 sections, and only 1 section is brioche, and I've done that one. There are 2 of us already making this particular pattern. I've got another friend who's starting this pattern. Started it yesterday or the day before. And we've got another couple of people who are interested in just starting a project, not sure what project it's going to be, but some kind of brioche project. So there's a thread for it on the Ravelry group. So if you click down below to the show notes, that will take you across to Ravelry, take you across to the group, and then you can look at other threads. And there's a thread for the brioche along. So it's not too late to start. If you fancy having a go at any project that has brioche in it, whether you've done it before or not, then go over there and just say hi. Tell us what you're thinking of doing. And just keep us up to date, and we can all just have a bit of fun with it together. So let me show you the shawl. I won't go through all the yarns again, because for you faithful people, you've seen them all before, and I will show you them all again at the end. So it's on a short circular at the moment, because then I don't have to spend my life pushing the stitches back and forth. So you've seen the short row section, the wedges with these lovely signature great big holes in there, which I love. Then there's the brioche section. So for those of you who haven't done brioche before, I wish you could feel it. It's very spongy and soft, and the knack of it is it's reversible. So it looks like a rib from the front, and then it looks like a rib from the back, but with the other colours. So it's just so pretty. That is actually, now I look at it, the right side, which is fine. And then there's this slip stitch section, which I completely messed up. So, you know, it looks all right. Don't worry about that. And then there's this. This is amazing. It's just knit stitch, but it's not garter stitch. I'll leave you to ponder that one. This is a long section. There's 24 rows on 375 stitches and increasing. So it's a long, not a slog, it's a long happy plod. That's what it is. I'm enjoying that at the moment. I've got this little wrap here around the needle so that I don't lose my stitches whilst it's in the bag, but that isn't working very well. I'll just give it another wrap. So that's where we're at the moment. After this, we've got one more section, which is, we'll have about 400 and something stitches by then, and there's a chevron section at the end. So it's going really, really well. I love the brioche bit. It's a really good pattern. Even West patterns are always good, aren't they? And I'm liking my choice of colours as well. I'm not the best at choosing colours, and this section here doesn't have much contrast. So you choose 4 colours, and to my mind, I wanted a dark for these lines here. When I was a little girl, I used to do colouring. I used to love a black outline to something. And this is lovely to have this dark. So to my mind, you want something dark there. You could equally do it with white, I guess, but something that's got the most contrast for those lines there. And then the next thing to do is to choose what you want for whatever your feature is. For me, the feature is the brioche. So I made sure that the colours that I chose for the brioche were the most contrasty that I could get. And then from then on, that was pretty much the colours chosen. So it's an interesting decision because you do want contrast between all of the colours. But if you've got contrast between all 4 colours, how do they actually look all together? Yeah, this kind of science is a bit beyond me. Well, it's more of an art, I guess, isn't it? But anyway, I seem to have done okay. And yeah, it's fine. So that's good. Very, very happy with that. So join in if you fancy. Okay, so that's my 4th project in work in progress, and there's one more, which is this, the continental socks. Now, when I spoke to you last, I showed you this. This is my continental knitting project. So for those of you who don't know, British knitting, you hold the yarn in your dominant hand, your right hand, and you flick it across as you're knitting. With continental knitting, you hold it in your left hand, your non-dominant hand, like you might do in crochet, and you stick your needle in and you pick up the yarn like that. I don't know if that's a good way of representing it, but anyway, I decided I wanted to try continental knitting. It's on my list of goals for this year, and this is my project that I'm going to do all in continental knitting. The tension is bad. I don't mind. it's a learning experience. Now, when I spoke to you last, I said that I would like to do a couple of rounds a day with it, just to sort of get it moving. Then the retreat happened, and I was right out of routine and didn't do any of that. So that's still languishing, really, bit of a shame. But I will carry on with it because it's on my list of goals. This is Luna. What do you think? Isn't she beautiful? Okay, I've put a little hot water bottle here in hopes that Luna shares Shiloh's fascination with hot water bottles, and like she'll come and sit here, but she's eating at the moment. So the only other, that's actually interesting, the 5 works in progress there, they're the same 5 as I had last time. I'm not sure that's happened before. Interesting. So the only other knitting crochet project I have is one that I've already started and finished, and that's this. It's Tunisian washcloth. I made this for the retreat. So the first night of the retreat, the first thing we did after we'd had a cup of tea was do a Tunisian crochet workshop. So everybody made a start on one of these. Whether they finished it or not, it's down to their own interest levels, but that's what we started. So it's really simple Tunisian, simple stitch across there, and then you switch to a standard crochet hook. Well, actually I didn't, I carried on with my Tunisian crochet hook and just did some UK doubles, US single crochets around there, switched colours again. Very simple, very nice, mercerised cotton. So the pattern for that, I'll put that up there. Nice simple free pattern. I'll keep that as a sample, I think. I don't think I'll actually use it for anything. So that's a new whip on the block that's also a finished object. Okay, so that's it for knitting and crochet. What's next? Spinning. So if you're not a spinner, don't worry, I don't go into great depth about any of these things, just a little bit, and not expecting you to know an awful lot about it either, so just bear with me for a sec. So I went to see my friend Sarah, who I know through the podcast, and she we had a bit of fun blending Rolags. Might put a picture in here if she's okay with it. So I've had lots and lots of fun with blending, and also I showed you this last time. This was dark water colourway, I called it, and it's teal and undyed and a little bit of black that I got from Gemma, and it's lovely and soft, but it's about 71 grams. What can you do with 71 grams of roughly DK, a bit thicker kind of yarn? Not a lot. So what I've done is I had some more teal and I made some more Rolags, which I have spun. There's always this kind of hairy bit on the end, which is the last bit that's not quite very well spun. But so again, undyed and teal. I think there's a tiny bit of black in there. And what I thought, because that's the last of the Rolags that I'd made, what I thought is that I would spin some undyed. Let me get it for you. Excuse the crinkling. This is some undyed Finnish, as in from Finland, not end. It's from Fibre Hut. It's cone fibre top, Finnish natural white. So I thought I'd spin some of that and then ply it with this to make a kind of light waters. That doesn't make much sense, but something to go with as a sort of coordinating, what's the word? I had it written down. Coordinating, don't know. It's going to go with this kind of lighter version of this. And then I do still have some of the teal left, I think. I could blend it with, oh, I've just had a thought. I could blend it with what's left of the humbug. Hang on, let me show you the humbug. Right, so I've still got some of the teal left. Sorry about the crinkling. So I've got the dark waters, and then I'll have the that applied with the undyed, and then I could do the rest of the teal blended with this darker stuff. This is Humbug, it's called, or plied with it, I don't know, to make a kind of darker version. So there's this in the middle, there's the lighter version and the darker version, and that would make a kind of almost gradient kind of thing for a fade project. I could just do a really simple pattern, something along the lines of the Quaker Yarn Bomb yarn stretcher boomerang. I like that. Something along the lines of that simple triangular shawl, but with a fade. So you'd start with a really light one, and then do alternating rows of the light and then middle, and then carry on with the middle, and then alternating rows of the middle and the dark, and then go on with the dark. So many ideas. So also I've got some dark purple in here that I dyed, and I've also got some bits and pieces that Sarah gave me of other fibres that I can blend in as well. So yeah, lots and lots of possibilities. This is something that, as you know, new to spinning, if you haven't spun before and you're just not aware, it's a massive world of possibilities. And if you just want to buy dyed fibre like this and just spin that into yarn, you can do that. That's absolutely fine. If you want to buy undyed fibre and dye it in a variety of different methods and then spin it in a variety of different methods, you can do that too. There's so much fun to have, and as hobbies go, it's actually a fairly cheap one. It depends on how you spin it. You can get a drop spindle for £7.50, and then the fibre you buy is a lot cheaper than the yarn would be, and like with yarn, undyed fibre is cheaper than dyed. So if you're buying fibre rather than yarn and undyed rather than dyed, you can get 100 grams or something like this for around £2.75 from the Fibre Hut. And then you have all the fun. I've got enough others before, sorry. I'm excited. So that's what I've been doing there. Let me just check. Yes, you can post the picture. Yes. So I will have shown you the picture of the Rolags now, so that's good. So the other thing was the Humbug gradient. So I bought this, don't know why, looked different on the website, it's not really my kind of thing. But I thought it's nice and soft, it might be something that mum-in-law could use. Well, I could make something for mum-in-law in it. So I did my first kind of gradient yarn, a bit like what I was talking to you about this then. So I started off with singles, so I applied a single with the Humbug, and I did one set of yarn that was the Humbug single plied with an undyed. So that's that. And then I went on to Humbug plied with Humbug. And then I took some of the Humbug and I dyed it purple. I think you saw some of that last time. So the next bit is the plain Humbug plied with the dyed purple Humbug. And then I applied what was left of the dyed purple Humbug with the dyed purple Humbug. Herberg. That doesn't work. So this is what we end up with. Can't see it terribly well, but it's a gradient from the white and Humbug through to the purple Humbug. And the pieces aren't connected, they're just kind of knotted. But that's okay. I can work that out as I'm knitting it. So I figured that if A, she likes the look of it, and B, she can tolerate it on her skin, because she's a little bit sensitive with wool, then I can make something for her with that. So that's my first sort of custom made yarn. Again, I would say it's DK plus a bit. But yeah, the only knitting I've done with hand spun is the yarn stretcher bomber and yarn stretcher boomerang, and those I've done on a 10mm hook, so haven't really. Oh, that's nice. haven't really worked out a gauge for what it's best knitted with. Right, that's all the spinning done. So a little bit of dyeing. I showed you last time a skein that I just kind of dropped into what was left of some blue, and I'd said it was just the basis and I would carry on and over dye it later, and I did. So I tried out dyeing that humbug to see how it would take colour before I actually put the purple in, and I tried it with green, and it came out really well, so that's why I knew I could go ahead and dry it with the purple. But there was some green dye left, so I dropped that pale skein in. I'll show you a pic of that. So this is what the result was. What do you think? I'm not keen. It literally just touched on the bottom of the skein, and it was wound when I put it in deliberately just to see how that came out. The answer is don't like it. It's too random. So I'll probably over dye it again with something else. But that's the fun thing about dyeing, is that when I happen to have some bare skeins around, whenever there's something going on that's spare, I can just drop it in and try it. And yeah, I don't like that. I don't know what I'll do next. I'll just keep it and see what happens when I next have some dye. Typically, knowing me, there's going to be some red or purple appear in this, but who knows. And if I over dye the whole thing, the green might just disappear into that if it's strong enough, or it might take the dye slightly different and make it a bit tonal. Who knows. So that's the only dyeing I've done. I haven't done any sewing either. I haven't even cut out the fabric for the trousers from the Tilly and the Buttons book. Just can't seem to get a sewing mojo on at the moment, but that's okay. You know, I've got plenty of other things to do. Right, weaving. Did I mention to you last time that I had ordered a pack of circular looms? So I've been watching weaving videos for the longest time, and liking the idea of the actual physical doing of it, but not liking the idea of all the faffing about, the warping it, the rigid heddles, all the fiddly and the space they take up. But also, I just couldn't imagine what I would do with the finished product. I don't want to make scarves. If people want scarves, I'll have knitted or crocheted them already. And all the normal kind of stuff that you might make with fabric that you've woven, I've already done in knitting and crochet. So I couldn't really see how I would ever do weaving, but I still watched loads of videos of it. And then something caught my eye. It was circular weaving. And suddenly I could see that this was something I could do. First of all, it's a circular wooden loom. Let me get one and show you. So I bought a set of 5. This is the biggest. This is probably the smallest. And the others in between I've either given away or lent to other people. So this is all the equipment you need. And I was able to get all 5 of these for £12. So that to me is a good investment. So all you do is you just wrap whatever you want around there. You could use 4-ply yarn. I used crochet cotton that I'd had for years. And then yeah, I was expecting these to come after the retreat, and they actually came the weekend before the retreat. So I spent Mother's Day weaving. So you just warp the loom, and then you just use a darning needle or whatever to wrap and to thread in and out. So no expensive equipment. And I also realised that where I sit in my bed, to the left of my wardrobe, there's a little bit of wall space. It's quite blank, and I thought it would be really nice to have a little selection of circles of different colours, different techniques, different sizes, just up on the wall there. It'd be really nice. I would probably be the only person who sees them, and that would be really lovely. And also I thought if I did them in cotton, I did them in coordinating colours, I could do them as coaster sets for dining room tables and things. So that covered my 2 objections to weaving, so I went ahead and bought them. So my first project, this is just typical me, dive straight in. First project I've completed, here it is. So just a few very basic techniques. This is that crochet cotton I was telling you about. Doesn't it look amazing? And then I've come out to do, this one's just simple under one string, over the next, all the way around. This next one is over 2 strings, under 1. And then there's over 1 string, under 2. And then I did a kind of crescent thing coming outwards, and then I did 1 row of each 3 different colours and circulated. And then, I don't even know what I did with that one. Guess you can tell from underneath, right? Over 1, under 1, I don't know. And then that was, oh, what do they call that? Sumac? It's kind of like a crochet chain onto the warp. And then another last little bit of it and some knots. So, do you want to see the back? It's a mess. But that's okay, because as part of the retreat we went to some of the craft shops in Harrogate, and I bought this from the Remnant House in Harrogate, which is a felt square in teal, and it's big enough to just cover that. So what I'll do is I'll cut a piece of cardboard about the right size. I'll probably cover the cardboard with this, hot glue it down. Belle, my daughter Belle's got a hot glue gun, hot glue it down around the edges, and then I'll just tack that to the edge of that, like that. That's my plan. And then it will be fairly stiff, and I didn't, as one of the warp threads that I didn't cut, so I'll be able to hang it from the wall like that. And then the plan is I can have several, and then I can take them down when I want, because Fiona at the yarn shop, Yarn Etc., is interested in me teaching a course in this. Again, you know, really simple, sort of 2 to 3 hour session. You get your loom, you can bring scraps of DK or any yarn you want, chunky, anything you want, even roving, even fibre would be fine. Really good fun. My friend Amanda from Moulin Gifts, she's got started at the same time as me on these, and she's done a lovely piece with some fibre wound in and out. It's just beautiful, and she's attached it to a crochet, an embroidery hoop. I'll put a link into somewhere you'll be able to see that, because it's really nice. You can definitely see it on Instagram if you follow Moulin Gifts on Instagram, but I can find a link to show you it. So if you're interested in weaving but don't really want to get any commitment, then this is the thing. You can come along to a course. Again, contact me or Yarn Etc., and you get a loom, and you can bring your scraps. Or actually, Fiona's got a box full of scraps we can use, and just play with it. And then, you know, you can. One of the people who I gave one of the looms to is going to just leave it on the loom. But a lot of people, I've just cut it off. This is the one I used for that. Just cut it off, and then I run the ends in the back like that. I did a little knot at the top first, just a kind of half hitch knot at the top, and then I've just run the ends in the back. So, and then the loom's ready to go again. So for the investment of £11, it's £12. It's just amazing. And you know, if you like the look of circular stuff like that and you want to experiment, just go ahead. Okay, right. So Creative Escape. So last week we had the April retreat. So it was 3 nights at the Cairn Hotel in Harrogate, where we stayed over. Well, I didn't stay over. We had, they had 3-course dinner, they had breakfast, they had lunch, with soup and sandwiches for lunch. We had workshops every morning. We had sort of free play in the afternoon. We went into town, we looked at all the craft shops, we went to Betty's tea rooms. All this is included in the cost of the retreat. We had lots and lots of time for things like spinning, weaving, whatever people wanted to do. Yeah, I'll put in a couple of clips here from the retreat.
It is kind of a nice sound.
Concentration face, yeah. Excellent. So, some of the women who came to that are going to come in November as well. So I'm taking bookings on that very soon. I just need to, I'm seeing the hotel today actually. No. Seeing the hotel today to talk about prices and, hello, did you hear that? I'm trying to see if she'll be interested in the hot water bottle. And then I'll be able to take some bookings when I've got the prices. But we already started talking about some of the workshops we'd like to do, because what I've been doing is I do a workshop the first evening, and then Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday mornings we have 3 different workshops. So We had a tutor come and do tatting with us. That was really hard, but she also does bobbin lace, so she's going to come back in November and do bobbin lace for us. I think I might do mosaic crochet, might do weaving, don't know. We also, one of the tutors who did the, oh yeah, I was going to show you, wasn't I? The stitch marker making workshop. We did that on the Thursday, and that's where I made that little mole marker. So cute. So she's going to come back, and we thought we might do something she's really good at, which is fixing things like torn jeans. Or she came to the November retreat last year, and she ripped the side of a tunic top she's got on a door handle. So she repaired it with applique and embroidery, and it's absolutely beautiful. So we're going to do a session with her on embroidery and applique for either fixing or adorning or whatever. You know, you've got a pair of jeans that's a bit tired, or it's got a hole in it and you want to fix it, or just you want to make it look a bit nicer, or indeed you just want to make a piece to put on the wall or whatever. So we're going to do that with her. What else we decided to do? Oh yeah, Fiona at Yarn Etc. said we could possibly do a dyeing workshop there. We could cover the table with plastic, and then use a microwave and some food colouring to dye some yarn there. She's very long, is Luna. Oops, that was my weaving. She needs to put some weight on. She was a stray for the first 8 months of her life, and then she got pregnant and moved into a house with a friend of a friend. Had her kittens there, and we've adopted her from there. So she's very skinny. What was I wittering on about? The retreat. Oh yeah, dyeing. So we could do maybe a couple of skeins of bare yarn, and you can hand paint it with food colouring and then wrap it up in cellophane and then microwave it. So that might be quite fun. We might actually do that. Fiona and I have been chatting. We might do mosaic crochet at Yarn Etc. Weaving, drop spindling. Almost certainly going to do some drop spindling. And Tunisian. Got a new pattern for Tunisian crochet that I might do. So lots and lots of things that I might be doing at Yarn Etc. She's calling for her kittens right now. She was taken away from them on Friday. And she's still calling for them. She's very sad. So sorry if that's distracting. So the November retreat, and then also that's the 4th to the 7th of November, by the way. And we've also got next month, May, we've got 2 Learn to Crochet days. So it's not residential. You just come along for the day at 9 o'clock. It's at the Cairn Hotel again. The 4th and the 24th, so there's a Friday and a Saturday, all the way around. And you come along at 9, get your hook, get some yarn, get a little bag, spend all morning just relaxing and just learning stitches, learning how to hold the yarn, all that kind of thing. And then we'll have lunch brought to us, and then after that we'll start on a project. Got some special yarn for probably either make one of these or the fingerless mitts that I make all the time. Lovely, really simple patterns to get started on that, hopefully finish one of them. And then I'll do a video for people to finish off the other one at home. So that's going to finish at 4. So there's 2 of those in May, and there's one spinning, introduction to spinning. That's at Painting Pots in Knaresborough. You can come along for, I think it's 2, is it a 2-hour session or 2.5? Get a drop spindle, get some fibre, and just have a play. Just get used to the idea of spinning fibre. So that's what's going on with that. Something new. Well, you know, I had said I wasn't going to buy any yarn until the end of June, so halfway through the year, and I haven't, and that's been fine. But you know that Claire Nettleship Yarns is a fairly new yarn dyer based in South Yorkshire. She has dyed me a custom dye to give away, so that the people who come on the retreat get a skein of yarn from me, and this is it. Or it's so soft and it's beautiful. It's the colours from my logo. It's 6 stripes, quite thick stripes, because I wanted to be able to do the geek socks, which is a slip stitch pattern. I needed at least 3 rounds of each colour before it changes. So she's dyed those specially, and everybody who came to the retreat got one of those. Well, she also did a pop-up shop for us, and I bought 2 skeins. This is the first yarn I bought this year, and I actually don't think I'll be buying any more. It was a very special occasion. So these again are self-striping. So this one, it didn't have a colourway name, so Claire offered for me to name it. I gave her a couple of suggestions, but no pressure to use them. So we'll see what that comes out at. But it's 3 colours and then medium stripes. So then in 60 stitches socks there'll be 4 rounds per colour, which is lovely. I really love those colours. I'm quite into grey with the pinks and purples at the moment. And this one, it's the same again, 3 colours and about 4 rounds per colour. This one is called High Hopes, and I didn't realise till after I bought it, but it's called High Hopes because it was the first colourway Claire ever dyed, and she had high hopes for this new business, so it's very special because of that, and I'm really glad that I chose this one. So she's done a lot of different types of dye, but now she's going to specialise in self-striping, which makes me very happy. So I think my sock mojo might be coming back. Quite excited about getting these started. So that's something new, probably the last something new in the yarn department for a while. Although we are going, the knit group and I'm picking everybody up, rounding them all up like a sheepdog and taking them all to World of Wool in Huddersfield, which is a place that does fibre and yarns, and it's got a cafe and everything. We're going there on Thursday, and some of the ladies from the retreat are going to meet us there as well, because once we've been on a retreat together, we've been together for 3 solid days, we would really develop quite close friendships, and we just seem to see them again and as often as we can throughout the year. So that's really lovely. A couple of the ladies from that are going to meet us there. If you fancy coming along, then please do. We'll be there about 11 o'clock on Thursday. We're going to have a look around. We'll be there for up to 3 hours. I've got to get back to get Luna her injections. So we'll look at yarn. I won't be buying yarn, but I will be buying fibre. So we'll buy yarn, we'll buy fibre, we'll have lunch, then I'll come and take everybody back home again. There will definitely be something new to show you next time. Right. Okay, we're in the home straight now. If you stuck with me, well done. Just plans really. I made a shawl called the Hotel of Bees. I'll go get it. Did I show you this last time? I've got a funny feeling I've shown this recently. It's by somebody Haddering. Put it up here. Really lovely crochet project. I made it last May while we were away. We had a special trip to celebrate Dave winning an award, and I took it with me, and I absolutely loved making it. Well, in a swap event we did with the knit group, I got some more of this yarn. It's actually Shapius Stonewash. I got some more of this yarn in similar colours, and probably enough to do another one. So I have been thinking about it because it was such an enjoyable project. And a friend of mine, Sarah, you hear me talk about her a bit, she wants to do Hotel of Bees. Now, she's not a very confident crocheter, so it'll be a slow project, and that's absolutely fine with me. And then I have another friend who might well do that as well. Who else is doing it? And there's somebody else who's talking about doing another bee related project. So I thought we might do a buzz along, a bee along. I don't know, what do you think? Not just Hotel of Bees. If you want to do Hotel of Bees, then you can do that with us. If you want to do something else that's bee related or flowers related or whatever, I don't know. You know me, I'm not exactly specific about these things. But anyway, we'll hammer out the details soon. My friend is actually just swatching at the moment and asking me questions about that. Christina Haddering, that's it. So if you're interested in doing a bee along or a buzz along, have a look and see if there's any patterns that you like that fit the bill, and if they don't fit the bill, then make them fit the bill. And we'll start that, not just yet. Maybe next time or the time after, I don't know. And as usual, there won't be any time limits. It'll just be in your own time, and we'll just have a bit of fun with it. And then we'll come up with a hashtag. I like buzz along. What do you think? Buzz along. Don't know. Okay, right. I'm looking at my list to see if there's anything I've forgotten. I don't think there is. So we're all done. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting all the way to the end if you're here. and I'm sorry that Luna couldn't be enticed, but who knows, next time maybe she'll be more craving of the warmth. Okay, happy crafting. If anything I have said you want to know more about, click on below, go over to Ravelry, it will take you there and you'll be able to find links to everything. If you want to make a comment, please do. I really love it when people get in touch and start a conversation. So make a comment just below. If you don't want to go to Ravelry, that's fine. If you do want to go to Ravelry, go over there, you can make a comment on this thread, or if you want to make a comment on the brioche along thread, or anything you fancy really. Just get in touch, just say hi. You can also get in touch on Instagram. So, thanks for watching, happy crafting, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.